When you look back at everything that happened last season, it almost feels unreal how the Philadelphia Eagles managed to bulldoze their way through the league with an attitude that screamed dominance. That stretch of games wasn't just efficient football. It was a reminder of how dangerous a team can be when its identity is built right at the line of scrimmage. Every snap felt like a punch delivered by a unit that understood its role in shaping a championship contender. And anyone who watched that team closely knew exactly where the magic began. It began with that offensive line that treated every matchup like a street fight and dared defenses to survive 4 quarters against them. Those big guys up front didn't just block. They took over games. They drained the will out of opponents, leaning on defenders until they broke down mentally and physically. It was the type of football that fits perfectly with the spirit of this city, the kind of blue-collar toughness Philadelphia fans adore. You could see it every week as the holes opened, the pockets held firm, and the run game flourished behind a group that played with swagger and purpose. Even as various stars across the roster caught headlines, it was this line that quietly carved out the path. And when you run behind an engine like that, it becomes a whole lot easier to put together a historic rushing season. Nobody embodied that better than Saquon Barkley. Last year, he delivered one of the greatest single-season rushing performances the sport has ever seen, combining regular season and playoffs into a highlight reel that seemed to grow every week. He didn't just rack up yards. He transformed the identity of the entire offense. When a defense prepared for the Eagles, the first question wasn't how to slow the passing game. It was how to keep Saquon from turning the afternoon into a clinic. Week after week, he piled up numbers that looked straight out of a video game. He was the kind of player who didn't just help the offense function. He dictated the whole rhythm of a game. Every time he touched the ball, there was this sense that something huge could happen, and more often than not, it did. Long runs, quick cuts, breaking tackles, exploding into daylight, he did it all. And through that stretch, he made a compelling MVP case. If you removed him from that offense, the entire team would have felt it instantly. The way he put up over 2,000 rushing yards, the way he averaged well above 100 yards per game, the way he kept producing even when defenses stacked the box, it all felt unstoppable. Even in the passing game, he showed up whenever the team needed a spark. And when the postseason arrived, he carried the same fire with him. Whether it was Green Bay, Los Angeles, Washington, or the matchup under the bright lights in New Orleans, he delivered moments that will be talked about for years. Fans will always remember those long touchdown bursts, the patience behind the line, the explosion once a crease appeared. You could feel the energy shift every time he bounced a play outside or cut back against the grain. But what made his production so remarkable was how reliable it became. Out of all those games, only a handful ended without him reaching at least the 100-yard mark. And even those rare outings were hardly poor performances. He ran with power, vision, and confidence, reflecting the trust he had in that offensive line in front of him. When that unit was rolling, he danced through lanes that made the game look easy. And when defenses committed entirely to stopping him, the passing attack suddenly had room to breathe. He demanded attention even without the ball in his hands. That was the formula. That was the identity. And heading into this new season, everyone expected the run game to remain the backbone of the team. Even with a few changes up front, the return of key players was supposed to keep things stable. The assumption was that Saquon would continue being Saquon, and the offensive line would continue setting the tone as one of the toughest units in the league. But instead of picking up where they left off, the exact opposite happened. This year, the offense has struggled to find that same rhythm on the ground. Nobody saw it coming, and nobody can quite believe how quickly things shifted. Instead of controlling games, the unit has spent long stretches stuck in neutral, battling through frustrating sequences where the run game simply fails to get going. The numbers paint the picture clearly. The explosive plays that defined last season have disappeared, and the consistency has completely vanished. A team that once punished defenses now finds itself trying to manufacture yards that used to come naturally. What is even more surprising is how much Saquon's numbers reflect the change. Through the same stretch of games where he once thrived, the difference is staggering. Fewer carries, dramatically fewer yards, fewer touchdowns, a yards per carry average that has taken a major hit. It's not just a drop-off. It's a complete shift in production. And yet, his individual ability doesn't appear to be the problem. He still looks fast. He still looks strong. He still has the explosiveness everyone expects. The issue is everything happening before he even reaches the line of scrimmage. Defenses have been loading the box at a rate you simply didn't see last season. They know what he can do, so they commit to stopping him early. But the real issue is that the offensive line isn't clearing space the way it used to. Last year, he consistently gained yards before taking any contact, often getting to the second level untouched. That number has fallen dramatically. There have been runs where he is met behind the line instantly, plays where the blocking collapses immediately, and moments where there's just nowhere to go. That's the most telling sign of all. A running back can only do so much when defenders arrive the moment he gets the handoff. And when you compare these blocking numbers to last season, the drop is impossible to ignore. Instead of dominating at the point of attack, the line is losing battles, missing assignments, and drawing penalties that stall drives before they begin. It is a complete departure from the intimidating group that bullied defenses up and down the field last year. Even with Tyler Steen stepping into a starting role, and even with the veteran pieces still intact, the line hasn't come close to matching its past level of performance. Injuries have played a role, inconsistency has played a role, and the chemistry just hasn't clicked. Opposing defensive fronts have taken advantage, blowing up plays before they get started and forcing the offense into long second and third downs on a regular basis. For a team that once prided itself on staying ahead of schedule, this has been a jarring reversal. The frustration hit its peak in that matchup against Dallas. Even with a huge early lead on the scoreboard, the run game never found its footing. Instead of grinding the clock, wearing the defense down, and suffocating the comeback effort, the offense stalled. Drives fizzled out, runs went nowhere, and the pressure kept building. Last season, the Eagles were the team that closed out games by leaning on the ground attack. This year, that weapon has been missing entirely. And when you combine the struggles in blocking with the wave of penalties, it becomes even harder to overcome. Pre-snap mistakes, holding calls, false starts, issues that have repeatedly halted momentum. The discipline that once defined this unit has disappeared, and it shows up every week in ways that directly cost the team possessions, field position, and scoring chances. Fans have noticed, coaches have noticed, and the numbers confirm it. The structure, the toughness, the efficiency, none of it resembles what this group showcased not long ago. And as the schedule tightens and the opponents only get tougher, the team knows it must rediscover that identity before the season slips away. The pressure is growing, the mistakes are piling up, and the solutions are not going to come easily. As the season rolled deeper into the grind, the tension surrounding the run game only grew heavier. Every week felt like another test of whether this offense could rediscover that edge, that physical identity that once separated them from the rest of the league. Instead of imposing their will, they found themselves reacting, adjusting, and searching for answers that used to come naturally. And whenever Saquon lined up in the backfield, you could feel the weight of expectation on every carry because everyone knew that this offense was supposed to run through him. Yet the moment the ball touched his hands, defenders were already collapsing around him, crowding lanes that used to be wide open. That constant pressure has shaped the rhythm of games in a way that nobody in Philadelphia anticipated. Drives that once stretched into long, methodical sequences now sputter out quickly, leaving the defense to shoulder extra responsibility. And when the offense becomes one-dimensional, every snap feels like a battle uphill. Opponents pin their ears back, disregard the threat of a run that no longer scares them, and then commit fully to pressuring the quarterback. It throws off timing, tightens windows, and forces plays that were once effortless to become laborious. Even the passing game feels the absence of a consistent ground attack. Last year, teams had to respect Saquon so much that play action became lethal. Safeties crept closer to the box, linebackers crashed downhill, and that hesitation opened up lanes for the receivers. This season, those same defenders rarely budge. They sit deeper, stay disciplined, and refuse to bite on a fake that lacks credibility. Without that gravitational pull from a backfield, the entire structure of the offense has shifted, and not in a way that benefits Philadelphia. Inside the building, you can sense the urgency rising. Coaches have tried to fine-tune schemes, tweak alignments, shuffle combinations up front, and adjust timing. But the truth is that execution has been the biggest hurdle. When the fundamentals break down, footwork, hand placement, communication, no amount of creative design can save a play. And the penalties only magnify the issues. Every time the offense finally picks up a decent gain, a yellow flag brings everything right back. It becomes demoralizing, not just physically but mentally, grinding down the rhythm of a team that needs momentum to find its stride. There's also the reality that the league evolves quickly. Last season's tape gave every opponent a blueprint of what the Eagles wanted to do. And instead of being surprised by the physicality of the offensive line, defenses showed up ready to punch back. Some of the top defensive fronts the team has faced this season have attacked with stunts, blitz looks, and subtle pre-snap shifts designed to confuse the protection. There have been moments where defenders shoot gaps untouched because the communication wasn't crisp or because a lineman hesitated for a split second. At this level, a split second is all it takes. And that's where the frustration becomes the most visible. You can see it on the faces of players who know what this offense is supposed to look like. You can hear it in post-game interviews when they talk about being close or needing to clean things up. The physical ability is still there. The talent hasn't vanished. But football is a game where the smallest breakdown can unravel an entire play, and Philadelphia has had far too many of those moments this season. Even Saquon, who rarely shows emotion beyond competitive fire, has worn that frustration at times. Running backs thrive when the game flows through them, when they feel the rhythm of the line, when they trust that the crease they anticipate will actually be there. But when play after play leaves him dodging defenders before he even reaches the line of scrimmage, it becomes harder to find that rhythm. He still breaks tackles, still bursts through contact, still squeezes every yard out of nothing, but the game shouldn't require Herculean effort on every single carry. Last year, he ran with confidence because the path was set for him. This year, he's had to fight for scraps. There have been calls from some fans to give more touches to the backup running backs, especially the bigger, more physical option who tends to fall forward even when the blocking isn't perfect. And while mixing in that style occasionally could spark something, it doesn't fix the core issue. No matter who lined up in the backfield, the offensive line still needs to control the line of scrimmage for this system to work. Without that, every adjustment becomes temporary rather than transformative. The biggest challenge ahead is reclaiming the level of discipline that once defined this unit. Too many drives have been torpedoed by pre-snap movement, holding calls born out of desperation, or mental lapses that extend opponents' possessions. And when a team is consistently losing the penalty battle, every game becomes harder than it needs to be. That's not a talent issue. That's focus. That's coaching. That's accountability. And those qualities were once a cornerstone of this team. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves rippling through the American sports landscape, a quiet whisper has begun to echo with surprising force. The Philadelphia Eagles may be preparing to bring in Buffalo Bills superstar quarterback Josh Allen. What started as a faint murmur in team circles has grown into a full-blown buzz, stirring excitement, confusion, and plenty of raised eyebrows across the league. Sources close to the situation claim that internal discussions within Philadelphia have intensified, with some voices insisting that the Eagles' front office has been exploring a bold, almost unthinkable scenario. While no official confirmation has surfaced, the mere suggestion of Allen wearing midnight green has been enough to ignite debates across sports talk shows and social media platforms. Insiders describe this as nothing more than exploratory chatter, yet the tone around the conversation suggests something unusually serious. Observers have noted that the Eagles have been unusually active behind closed doors, prompting speculation that the franchise could be considering a seismic shift in its long-term offensive strategy. The idea of pairing Allen's arm strength and improvisational flair with the Eagles' dynamic skill players has only fueled the fantasy further. Meanwhile, Bills fans have reacted with a mixture of disbelief and irritation, dismissing the rumor as off-season fiction. But even their insistence hasn't been able to silence the ongoing hum of intrigue. League analysts have begun dissecting every angle, from financial logistics to locker room chemistry, attempting to determine whether such a blockbuster could realistically materialize or whether it's simply smoke without fire. Still, the rumor persists, refusing to fade. Across the league, front offices are listening closely, and fans are refreshing their feeds with renewed urgency. The possibility may be remote, unlikely, or even impossible, but it has already become the most talked-about storyline of the moment. And until someone steps forward to deny it outright, the buzz will continue to swell. Could Josh Allen truly be on the verge of an unimaginable move to Philadelphia? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.